is day 30 of my 30-day challenge. So yay. For some reason, this looks weird. There we go, much better. So today I want to talk about sin 5, which is greed. And here I'm talking in a job search related way that greed is about applying for everything because you're like just trying to find anything. You're kind of just doing all the things and applying for all the jobs that are available. And to be honest, it's really, really bad idea. The reason that this is a bad idea is because the more you just apply for things, the less motivated you can do each application. And the whole like quick apply on LinkedIn or whatever they're called in all these different databases where you can just like, oh, I'm just gonna apply. It's not super helpful, to be honest. So your time is better spent if you're more selective. So really also thinking about what is the jobs that you think is relevant. What is like really thinking about what are your values? What are the values the company have? What are the values the people who seem to work there have? So that you can kind of see, does this even fit me? And spend that time evaluating that for yourself before you apply for a job, because that way you can create way better material. So when you're selective about which kind of jobs you are applying for, you can actually make sure that you fit better. And it's also easier for you to show your value. And this is one of the things I keep talking about is like, what is the value that you can bring the company? It's not just about telling them, I've been doing this and this and this and this in my previous jobs. It's about showing them, why is that relevant for them? Why is that important for them? Why would you be important for them? Because, and I say this like a bit, it's, for some people it sounds a bit harsh, but until you've shown the company the value you can bring them, they don't freaking care about you. The point is that you don't, like, you're not relevant to them until they see the kind of value you can bring. That means that you need to look into, based on your experience, your previous jobs, your education, what value can you bring to the company? And for you, it might be like, hey, I have this master's degree in this, so of course it's relevant because that's a given, right? For you. And that's super. But for the HR person or maybe even the hiring manager in the team, it might not be a given that your education or your experience is a match for what they're looking for. That is what you need to use your application material to explain. So you have to bridge that gap between what is it that they are looking for and how your skills can add value to that. So what is their problem? What is it that they're looking for someone to help them with? And how is it that you're the good match? What's the value you bring? So how do we build the bridge between your experience, your education, your past, into their future? Because not until you can do that will you be likely to get the interviews, because you're up against a lot of other people here, right? If you've followed along in the media, or especially my LinkedIn profile today has been very much a lot of posts about people being let go from Novo Nordisk. They are in the process of letting 5,000 people go in Denmark alone. That's a lot. And it's like, again, all of a sudden, especially I'm thinking in pharma, because Novo is a pharma company, but you also have a lot of other positions, right, in Novo. But you're going to have a lot of competition in the market. So you need to stand out with your application material. So even more so now than just a few weeks ago, because the field of applicants are going to get larger. Like 5,000 people is a lot in a small country like Denmark. And it's something that's going to move the, I want to say probably move the economy, but at least move like the job search part of sphere here, especially in pharma and in related fields, where it's going to get tougher because you're going to be up against a lot of people with sometimes a lot of experience. I've seen people today from my network who's been like, hey, after 16 years in Novo, I got let go. That must be tough, right? But that also means that whether you're from, and if you're from Novo and have been let go, I'm really sorry. In general, if you've been let go from anywhere, I'm sorry. But it means that you need to be, as a job seeker in Denmark, especially when the market ends up being a bit harder, you need to be very, very aware that you can be aware how you can communicate your value. How can you write what it is that you add, what's the value that you add to that company, to that position? And by not just applying for anything, you kind of get that time to show more of the value you can bring, so that you spend the time, instead of kind of, again, we're talking about the sin of greed here and like just applying for everything, but instead of like being consumed by, I need a job, I need a job, I need a job, and it doesn't matter, I just need a job right now, so I'm applying for everything. Don't do that. Because the thing is that it ends up being useless. You need to kind of take a deep breath in and look at where is it that you can provide value, and then show them what is it that your background can be used for. How can it add value to this specific company? And another thing for that is also, when you're doing that, it also helps you manage your own stress a little bit. So when we're talking about just like you being stressed about all of the applications you need to send, right? But if you kind of take a deep breath, slow down a little bit and say, okay, I'm going to aim for sending 2 super amazing, really good, well-researched, well-worked through applications a week, rather than 20 that you just like send standard material to. That is going to be a huge help, and that's definitely going to help you. So I very much encourage you to do that. And if you need help, if you're looking for jobs, if you have at least a master or a bachelor's degree, and you're looking for jobs in Denmark at that level, I would love to have a chat with you. You can go into my profile and book a discovery call with me and see if I might be the person to help you. If you have any questions about this, feel free to leave a comment. And if you have a question, then write it in the chat. But other than that, leave a comment. I'm just going to look here real quick, because we are in, other than this being day 30 of my 30-day challenge, I also started um, a um, a small like series about the 7 sins, and today was sin 5, which is greed. Tomorrow is going to be gluttony, which is sin 7, and that is about putting everything in your CV and why it's a bad idea and what to do about it and how to kind of figure out what makes the most sense. So in terms of today, like, and not applying, or greed is kind of just applying for everything, and why you shouldn't do that. What you should do is be selective. Stop applying for all the jobs, apply for the jobs that makes most sense to you, and then do it right. Show them your value, do the research so you can show them the value. Write them, speak to them before you create your material, so you can show them what the value is in terms of the position they're looking for. And then avoid the stress yourself, because no one benefits from you stressing about this. The only one that, well, no, there's not really anyone. Well, your competitors, maybe in terms of the job search, might actually benefit from you stressing, but basically no one benefits from you stressing. You don't get to do better material. You just like it's all over a bad thing to do. So take a breath, send some amazing applications, and then I'm just gonna say best of luck. Remember, figure out what you think is interesting and fun about the job search process. Even though that sounds weird, there's always something, right? So what is it? For me, it was networking. I'm a very extroverted person. I love going out networking. That's also, well, I know I'm not really networking here, but the extroverted part, like being on, doing stuff like this. So figure out which part of the network or the job search process do you think is fun, and then use that as a reward for all the other things that you need to do in your job search project. So yeah, that is it for me today. I am on to another meeting and then off to bed. But thank you for joining in today. Have an amazing rest of your evening. Bye.